Let's kick off this explainer and explore the fascinating mechanics of the United Nations, specifically looking through the lens of a truly historic diplomatic milestone for Bangladesh. We are looking at a moment that is reshaping not just a single career, but how an entire nation is perceived on the global stage. It's a powerful story of rising global influence, and I'm really excited to get into it with you.
So before we look at the broader global implications, here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering today. We'll start with this new diplomatic era, clearly define the role of the World Parliament Speaker, break down the regional rotation system, look at the intense 2026 election battle, dive into the career of the diplomat at the center of it all, and finally, look at Bangladesh's transformation from a labor-focused nation to a real hub of diplomacy.
All right, Part 1, a new diplomatic era. We are beginning with a massive, absolutely crucial achievement on the world's most important political stage. Bangladesh's Foreign Minister, Dr. Khalilur Rahman, officially securing the presidency of the UN General Assembly. And you know, this isn't just some personal victory. It is a profound symbol of prestige for the entire country. The key takeaway right here is the number 4. That represents the 4 long decades passed since 1986. That was literally the last time a Bangladeshi representative, Humayun Rashid Chaudhry, held this esteemed seat. Think about that for a second. For 40 years, Bangladesh has been patiently building its diplomatic presence, forming quiet alliances and proving its capability. And now? They're stepping right back into the absolute center of the world's largest diplomatic hub.
Moving on to Part 2, World Parliament Speaker defined.
Now, to really appreciate this milestone, we kind of need to clear up a very common misconception about who actually runs the UN. When you hear a title like President of the General Assembly, or PGA, you might naturally assume they're the absolute boss of the whole organization. But the reality? It's much more nuanced. While Secretary General Antonio Guterres is the administrative head, managing the day-to-day operations and the staff, the PGA is essentially the Speaker of Parliament for the world. Think of it exactly like a legislative speaker in your own country's government. They don't just issue unilateral decrees or force sovereign nations to act against their will. Instead, they hold this immense, quiet power as the ultimate coordinator. For their one-year term, they are managing the complex daily sessions, guiding debates on incredibly critical global issues, setting the legislative agenda, and, this is the hardest part, working tirelessly to build consensus among all 193 member states. In a room full of competing national interests, it's all about bringing deeply divided voices together.
And with a job that difficult, you'd expect some serious perks, right? Well, you wouldn't be wrong. When the president travels, they are treated with the exact protocol of a head of state. They get a specialized, fully equipped executive office right at the UN headquarters in New York. They're provided with a dedicated secretariat full of brilliant policy analysts, top-tier diplomatic vehicles, and maximum security details wherever they go. But here is the fascinating twist that almost nobody knows. The United Nations doesn't even pay the president's salary. No way, right? That financial responsibility falls entirely on their home country. Yet nations eagerly and happily absorb this cost because the international influence, the visibility, and the sheer geopolitical capital gained from holding this seat for a year, it's simply invaluable.
Which brings us to Part 3, the regional rotation system.
So, let's unpack the selection process and see how the UN's unwritten rules dictate who actually gets a shot at this role. Because it's definitely not just a free-for-all global popularity contest where any country can jump in at any time. To maintain fairness and true global representation, the 193 member states strictly rotate the presidency through 5 distinct regional groups: the African group, the Asia-Pacific group, the Eastern European group, the Latin American and Caribbean group, and the Western European and others group. Every single year, the presidency shifts to the next group in line, and 2026 was specifically the Asia-Pacific group's turn. You can't just nominate yourself on a whim. Your specific member state has to officially put your name forward, and you absolutely must belong to the geographical region whose turn it is to lead.
Part 4, the 2026 election battle.
Normally, when a regional group's turn comes up, the member nations get together, hash it out behind closed doors, and agree on a single, unified candidate to run completely uncontested. A smooth diplomatic handover, right? Well, not this time. 2026 brought a genuine, high-stakes electoral battle right to the assembly floor. In this case, 2 nations from the Asia-Pacific group put forward highly qualified, really formidable candidates. Bangladesh nominated Dr. Khalilur Rahman, and Cyprus nominated Andreas Koukouris. Because these nations couldn't reach a consensus candidate within their own regional meetings, it forced a highly contested, democratic vote across the entire General Assembly. This meant every single one of those 193 member states worldwide had to step up and cast a secret ballot to decide the winner.
And the magic number? 99. Dr. Rahman secured 99 out of the 193 available votes to win the presidency. Let that sink in for a second. It was a tight, fiercely fought diplomatic victory, requiring relentless lobbying across multiple continents. Securing exactly 99 votes brilliantly illustrates Bangladesh's diplomatic pull. It proves that they haven't just been casually participating in global affairs, they have been actively cultivating strong, reliable international alliances capable of winning a true global mandate when it matters most.
Let's dive into Part 5, A Career in Diplomacy.
So who exactly is the man stepping into this pressure cooker? To understand how he won the confidence of 99 nations, we just have to look at his remarkable resume. This is a life wholly dedicated to international relations. Starting back in 1977, he proved his academic capabilities by ranking first in the Bangladesh civil service exams. From there, the rise was rapid. By 1985, he joined the UN Permanent Mission. He has spent decades working in highly complex multilateral roles across New York and Geneva, including a notable tenure as a special advisor for UNCTAD. Before stepping into the pivotal roles of foreign minister and UNGA president in 2026, he served as a security advisor to the interim government in 2024. It is a lifetime of deep multilateral experience. He understands precisely how the massive UN machine works from the inside out. Finally, Part 6, From Labor to Diplomacy. Let's zoom out to see how this personal victory reshapes the nation's entire identity. For the longest time, the international community has viewed Bangladesh primarily through a very specific historical lens, usually focusing on its vast labor markets or its extreme frontline vulnerability to climate change. And while those are incredibly important factors, securing this presidency signifies a powerful new reality. Bangladesh is actively shedding that traditional image and stepping up as a central hub of global diplomacy. They are no longer just a nation navigating global challenges, they're acting as a capable coordinator of world affairs. It is a massive recognition of their diplomatic skill and their acceptability among the world's major powers. And they are taking the helm at a truly precarious moment. Dr. Rahman is picking up the gavel at a time of extreme global fragmentation. Just look at the towering agenda waiting for him. He'll be directly tasked with guiding diplomatic dialogue on some of the most volatile issues of our time: the devastating war in Ukraine, the deeply tragic Gaza crisis, the escalating tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, rapidly accelerating climate disasters, massive refugee challenges, and sweeping global economic uncertainties. The world is deeply, perhaps historically, divided right now, and the President of the General Assembly will be at the absolute center of it all, tasked with the near-impossible job of forging consensus. So as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this final thought. How exactly will a developing nation leverage this incredible platform to guide a fractured world to its most complex crises? Watch closely as Bangladesh steps into the very center of the diplomatic storm, transitioning from a global participant to a vital facilitator of global peace. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and definitely keep your eyes on the UN General Assembly in 2026.